What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of the Hoops Betting Hour, presented by FanDuel, empowered by PicksWise. I am your host, the big man on campus. We are here live on a Wednesday, June 2nd, 2021. Another day, another dollar in the NBA. 4 games tonight. We only had a couple last night. We've got 4 tonight. So Monday night 2, last night 3, tonight 4. Gotta love it. A couple of opportunities for teams to close it out as we continue to get closer and closer to the next round of the playoffs. Who's going to save their season? Who's going to close games out? We'll figure that out today, hopefully. I am Blackjack. I've had like 5 straight days where I've been 1-1. I've had it. I'm irritated because I just am missing out. I'm putting in props that I shouldn't. I got to stick to either more games or less games, but 2 is not getting it done. Blackjack Fletcher joins us here on a Wednesday. He's a general Wednesday guest. Blackjack, how are you? How's everything been going?
Fantastic, as always. We got NBA playoff action. We got NHL playoffs. Another great episode of The Sit Down came out today.
Yes.
The Bulger episode. Go download that. Everything's great.
Yeah, a lot to do. We'll get to that at the end. But again, if after the show, go download the sit down, listen to it. It's a great episode this week. Last night, kind of an interesting night in the NBA. Look, as usual though, the games, outside of one, were not good. These playoffs suck. I mean, every game's a blowout. It's just not been good. I mean, how many games have we saw that were 106-81, 115-85. I mean, it's not good.
The playoffs are going to suck until the conference finals.
That's true.
Because there are teams that are going to advance in this round. Like Portland or Denver, one of those will advance and get smoked. The Hawks are going to get smoked. The next round's not going to be a lot better.
Yeah, that's always what we kind of see early on. But, you would hope for just a few that are good. It seemingly is difficult to ask for. Celtics get beat up last night, 123-109. Rough beat on the over. It falls 232. Basically miss it by a point. That sucks. Big news today, Brad Stevens is going to step aside, become the GM, and Ainge is gone. So the Celtics didn't waste any time. They're a mess right now, and you love to see it. F the Celtics.
Brad Stevens somehow gets promoted, even though he hasn't won anything in 7 years. But hey.
Yes, weird. Also, I still don't understand why he didn't take the Indiana job. You're not making $7 million, $10 million a year as the GM of the Celtics. But I guess he wants to be an office guy. I don't know. An NBA executive wouldn't be that bad a job. Let's just be honest. Brad Stevens kind of looks like an executive. I can see it.
I feel like Brad Stevens can have that job as long as he wants.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. Nets just keep looking like a wagon offensively. Kevin Durant with 24, Kyrie with 25, and James Harden with 34. So, not the greatest offensive night from them, and they still score 123. Pretty incredible. Couple other thoughts on the card. Portland, nice night for Dame Lillard. He has 55 points, but they lose the game. I feel like I'm living back in Allen Iverson times, where Allen Iverson would score 50 and the Sixers would lose. Not ideal if you're Portland. I don't really know what else Portland has to do. I mean, they seem to add guys. You think, okay, this team's going to be legitimately good, but they don't defend. Their coach sucks. You got to feel bad for Dame Lillard.
Listen, Terry Stotts, how he still has a job is beyond me.
Wow.
Okay, I don't think that team wins because of him. And listen, I appreciate that Damian Lillard is kind of a throwback, and he hasn't asked for a trade, and he hasn't looked for the bigger market. But, Jeff, let's just be honest here for a second. You need, in this day and age, 2 superstars to win a title in the NBA. Maybe the 04 Pistons and the Raptors were the ones who really didn't have, 2 true bona fide stars. You need 2. No one's going to Portland, dude. No one wants to go play in Portland. I'm sorry.
So are you calling out McCollum? You're not saying he's a superstar?
He's not. He's a really nice player. He's a fringe all-star. He's not a superstar.
Yeah, I agree.
McCollum's a good player. He's not a great player. And no one is going to sign as a free agent in Portland. But think about this, right? Kevin Durant went to Brooklyn to play with Kyrie Irving. Damian Lillard's a hell of a lot better than Kyrie Irving. I'm sorry, he is. All right, I'd rather play with that guy than Kyrie Irving. But you know what? I don't want to go live in Portland.
Yeah, it's a shame that Lillard doesn't have Jokic because they would win for sure. If they were kind of
another superstar.
Yeah, it's a shame that it's a shame that it's just kind of Nurkic instead of Jokic because it would be special if it
He
weren't.
needs to ask out, brother. I'm saying he needs to ask out. I feel bad that this dude who is one of the most unbelievable playoff performers every season, every year, we know he's going to go absolutely off in the playoffs, and the Blazers are going to lose.
Yeah, it's really incredible. You feel bad because he puts it all out there and he does his thing, but he just doesn't do it well enough. We look back to Nikola Jokic, as far as Portland that year. Nikola Jokic was drafted in 2014 in round 2. So shout out to all the round 2 people. Remember, though, Portland that year, I don't believe had a first-round pick, as far as I remember correctly. They did not have a first-round pick. They had an opportunity, I believe, to draft Nikola Jokic, and they didn't. Matter of fact, they may not have had any picks in that draft for some reason. I guess something to do with trades. I'd have to look it up. But, yeah, it would be nice if they had a guy like Jokic or Embiid. Or listen, someone asked me last night on Twitter Spaces, would I trade Ben Simmons and multiple picks for Damian Lillard? Yes, absolutely. I would trade the whole team outside of Embiid for Damian Lillard.
You can have Simmons nuts? And whatever else you want, save Embiid, including every draft pick that we've got for the next decade. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even a question of whether I would do it. By the way, if you're curious, this is, I believe, the final year of Damian Lillard's contract, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. I think he signed an extension, didn't he?
I don't think he did, as far as what I'm seeing. I could be wrong. I'm looking at Spot Track, and according to Spot Track, his final year is this year, 2021. So, but then again, I'm sorry I didn't scroll down far enough. You're right. He did sign an extension until 2025, where he's
he always does that. I mean, like, he's a loyal guy. He seems very loyal to them, but it's like, dude, I just want to see him play for a winner.
Yeah,
a real winner.
He's a baller. He's a total baller. By the way, Michael Porter, how do you give him that much space? Jesus. What are you not fouling for either? Like, what? What is going on, Michael Malone? What is going on, Michael Porter? Yeah, you can't. You got to foul there. I saw something funny, Blackjack, last night. The only shot Michael Porter doesn't like is the coronavirus vaccine. I thought that was funny because Porter is an anti-vaxxer, as they say. Final game, not much to say here. The gutless performance by the LA Lakers. LeBron James continues to, I don't know what's going on with LeBron as far as just his behavior recently. I thought he's been a lot more not likable recently. Walking off the court with 5.5 minutes to go was not, I mean, how can you actually, and I know he'll make it and say that it was like injury related or something, but how can you co-sign that as the leader you say you are, the ambassador you say you are to the NBA? Like what? Like what was that? Pathetic.
Because LeBron James can do what LeBron James wants to do.
Yeah, and
there are no consequences. Everyone accepts it. It is what it is. He's going to get away with whatever he wants to, and people will make it out to be, no problem. At the end of the day, this Lakers team is very flawed. They don't have enough scoring. I said this on my podcast earlier today with Jeff Schwartz and Paul LaDuca, 2.5 Idiots. When you guys are talking about like needing Dennis Schroeder to win playoff games, that's not enough. Like, it's still Dennis Schroeder, right? Like, we've seen him for a while in the NBA. He's all right. But if you need that dude to win you a playoff game, you don't have enough.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have obviously Anthony Davis either, which kills. Lakers are done. Bye-bye Lakers. They ain't winning, 2 games in a row. It's not going to happen. Let's get into games today. As always, thanks for checking out the show. We get a lot of people that watch this on the replay. Maybe we have to recalibrate when we do this show, just because there are so many people that watch it late. It's tough, though. Middle of the day, a lot of people at work. If you're catching it on the replay, thanks for checking us out. Make sure you hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you're new around here. If you have a comment or question and you're live, feel free to let us know in the chat. Blackjack, let's get into a couple of games here. We got a closeout game tonight in South Philadelphia, we hope. The Philadelphia 76ers hosting the Washington Wizards. Game 5. Wizards were able to stave off elimination the other night after Joel Embiid went out, and I made some points that I want to make right now before we get into this game.
Please.
I really do believe in my head that the Sixers are in trouble if Joel Embiid doesn't play. Time and time again, this team has shown that without Joel, they just aren't very good. Defensively, they're not as strong. Offensively, they're not nearly as strong. They do not have a bell cow player like Embiid. Everything goes through Joel. It's just how they run. They're a well-oiled machine with him. And we continue to hear from Doc Rivers, the apologist for Ben Simmons, who continues to let Ben skate on not becoming a full NBA tool player. It's absolutely pathetic that this continues to happen. No one, you talk about LeBron James, nobody holds Ben Simmons accountable. And I'm going to say something, Blackjack, and I urge you to listen to what I'm saying. I had a lot of people that were upset with my comment that I'm about to make. Ben Simmons is starting to look a lot like Andre Iguodala. They're the same player. They're the same guy. They're the same. Ben Simmons is being asked to be the guy on this team, and he's not capable of being it. Ben is a complimentary guy. That's all he is. When Andre Iguodala went to Golden State, he thrived. Ben Simmons will probably go there and thrive. He is not a guy you can count on. Stop acting like he is. And if you're going to talk about how great he is, make sure you talk about all his flaws as well, because there's a lot of them. I get disgusted, real quick. I continue to be disgusted watching this guy late in games where we have to basically hide him on offense, and it's 5 against 4 because Ben Simmons can't shoot the basketball. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. The only reason Ben Simmons has had a great season the way he has is because Joel Embiid has mostly been around. I'm sick and tired of Ben Simmons. Without Joel Embiid, I really worry about this series.
I agree with you. I don't know what the kind of obsession is, honestly, with Ben Simmons. I guess my question to you is, if let's say you were to move him to another team or something, where would you play him? Like, he's not a point guard, right? I mean, he's not really a true point guard. I feel like he's more of almost like a old school back to the basket center.
He actually played well at the 4. I mean, to be honest, when Brett Brown would occasionally put him there, he actually played pretty well. But it's just for anyone. I remember like a few years ago, there were actually people that saying that like we should get rid of Embiid and keep Ben Simmons because he's this generational type of player. Like what?
Yeah.
I mean, at least Giannis Antetokounmpo, who doesn't. I mean, he's not a good shooter, but at least he has tried to improve that part of his game. You know, Ben Simmons has basically said, I'm not going to do it. Stop asking me.
Jeff, there's no comparison. Giannis is a competent shooter to the point where you can't just leave him alone and dare him to shoot. The opponents want Ben Simmons to shoot because he can't. Like, they will dare him. Go ahead, take it. And you know you're not in danger. Like, I've never seen a guy who just, like you said, like just seems to not give a damn about it, because we've seen a lot of bad shooters, right? Jason Kidd was a bad shooter. Lonzo Ball was a bad shooter when he came into the NBA. These guys have all got themselves to a point where they were competent. You couldn't leave them all alone. Rajon Rondo, same thing. Like, not a great shooter, but defenses don't just step back and let him shoot.
I mean, literally, they make around the top of the key, they just allow him to walk up and do what he wants to do. You'd think occasionally he'd say, you know what, I'm going to take this shot and maybe make it occasionally, and maybe they'll stop doing this, and I can open up things for my teammates. He is the most infuriating player in the history of this town in any sport, and I mean that. It is hard to watch this guy because he is just so inept as far as improving himself. In this game, I've got some real concerns. I think if you can find a 7, I don't hate it, because, again, if you can show me any reason to believe that without Ben Simmons or without Joel Embiid, they can competently play 4 quarters and win this game. Look at the particulars in this series. Look at when Joel went out the other night. Look at when Joel didn't play in the first half for the most part against the Wizards. The Wizards did whatever they wanted. And it wasn't Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook doing it. It was Davis Bertans. It was Ish Smith. It was Alex Lynn. Okay, this team struggles on both ends without Embiid. What I'm looking at in this game, I see a total at 230. Bookmakers are starting to make some adjustments in this series. I remember when this total was 225, 226. You've got a Sixer team that didn't shoot the ball real well without Joel. 104 points per possession, per 100 possessions, which is not good. I think Washington, if you're going to say anything about Philadelphia, I don't know if their defense goes off a whole lot without Embiid, just because I think they can really still key in on Russell Westbrook, on Bradley Beal, some of the guards. No Burtons tonight, which hurts. I think that opens up kind of the perimeter for them. I think he's a good kind of change of pace guy.
Yeah.
The numbers are really horrible without Embiid offensively. The big money coming in on the under, I'm going to side with that. I think that this game is probably first to 115 wins. You definitely lose a lot with Embiid off. I think you lose something with Burtons as well. I think this is a little bit slower of a tempo written all over it. And the Sixers defense always travels pretty well. I'm going to lean on under 230 in this game. I think it's just a bit too high.
I think that's probably a smart play, if we're being honest here. I can't – I'm passing on this game just because Philadelphia is too much of an unknown quantity without Embiid, and I think Embiid has to sit tonight because – Jeff, you talk about, you're tired of Ben Simmons. I'm tired of Joel Embiid constantly missing playoff games every year. Come on, man. They need him out there. This is a year where they have a chance, okay? I don't know whether Milwaukee's going to be able to beat Brooklyn. I doubt it. This feels like Philadelphia, Brooklyn for the Eastern Conference title. Get him right for that series. He needs to play every game of that series, every single one of them.
Yeah, but trusting him to do that is
I know.
tough.
That's why I'm saying bench him, sit him tonight, let him get healthy. Hopefully they can close it out. You get a couple of days rest. But I can't bet this. I think you're probably on the right side of the total, but to me this is just
he's like Anthony Davis. You can never trust that he's
you're not wrong.
And I feel bad because he's been so good this year, but it sucks. I hope he's okay, and you're right. If they are able to move on, he moves on. Let me ask you this, yes or no answer. Do the Sixers win tonight?
Yes.
Okay. I think they probably do. I don't think it's going to be easy, though. I have a hard time trusting them in any circumstance without Embiid.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm going to lean under the total. Next one, Atlanta and the Knicks. Knicks at home here, land 1.5. Total is 208.5. Hawks looking to close it out. I'm very excited about this. I have a Hawks series ticket. Let's close this one out tonight. However, I don't think they do. This is obviously do or die for the Knicks. Huge game at home here. I want to say it's 100% capacity tonight.
Yep.
I'm going to guess. I know in Philadelphia it is. So that's going to be huge. The Garden was loud with 70% capacity, so it's going to be rocking tonight. But that doesn't translate to wins. Okay, we saw that in Game 1. I've said before, and I'll say this again. You know this. The Knicks just don't have Trae Young. Okay, they have guys that are great. They played well, but they don't have Trae Young. I thought the Hawks, Nate McMillan, I've not given him the greatest love over the years, but I think he's done a pretty damn good job
here.
Yeah, on Julius Randle. He's really done well. They've really opened up the floor with Bogdan Bogdanovic. Capella's been terrific. The ancillary players like Williams and Herter and all those guys have played well. John Collins. I am a little concerned, though. I hate when players talk before games.
Thank God you're bringing this up.
I hate that. And I think for me, I weirdly think it's the undoing for the Hawks tonight. Here's what I like in this game. I don't know if it's best bet worthy, but it has come in. The Knicks is a favorite at home this year. It has been a very good bet in the first half. Very good bet.
They're the best first half team in the NBA.
Yeah. I don't know if – I think the Knicks and the Hawks – I think this is a great game tonight. I really do. I think it's a knockdown, drag-out, first to 105 probably wins. If you like defense, this would be the game for you. And the Hawks have not been as good on the road offensively. I think the Knicks get it done here in the first half. I think they kind of use the crowd. They use that bulletin board material. I'm going to come out and say I think Randall has a big first half here. And I think the Knicks find a way to get the job done in the first half. I don't want to pick the winner here because, again, I do have a series plan. I don't really want to cut into my profit. I'll probably have a little play here on Knicks first half. I think it's a pretty good bet. I think they use some real energy tonight. I don't know if that'll extend it to the full game and they win it, but I think the bulletin board material is used here.
I think it will. I'm taking the Knicks minus the 1.5 here. I listen. I'm with you. I generally don't. I don't usually pay a ton of attention to the bulletin board stuff,
emotional stuff. Yeah.
But Clint Capella. First, let's just start here. Okay. The Hawks have been talking the entire series. All right.
Yeah.
Trae Young does it. It's one thing. Clint Capella needs to shut his mouth. Okay.
I don't know. Clint Capella's played pretty well. I hear you.
Trae Young can talk. Clint Capella can't talk. All right. And the second thing is, can we stop pretending that like the Hawks are head and shoulders better than the Knicks? Like, you're pretty close teams. You got Trae Young, they don't. All right. Otherwise, let's not pretend like the Hawks are some demolition force here, because they're not. So for you to come out, Clint Capella, and be talking all this trash about how the Knicks are essentially soft, when I think, Jeff, you would agree, that's probably not an adjective that applies to this team.
No,
they play fairly physical.
Yeah, I don't think
I think the Hawks are going to get a boot in their ass tonight. I do. I think it's going to be ugly. I don't think it's going to be a blowout or anything. I think it's going to just be a very physical kind of knockdown, drag out game. I think you're going to see hard fouls. I think Clint Capella should have kept his mouth shut, because I think that the Knicks win this game now. I still think the Hawks win it in 6 back in Atlanta, but I don't think it's happening tonight.
This is something that doesn't work.
It's a Tom Thibodeau team too. Like, you know what Thibodeau is? You saw Derrick Rose like not getting involved in it. Like, the Knicks are just keeping their mouth shut, which I just think it's going to be. I think they're going to be on a mission tonight.
Knicks are being coy, if you will.
Yes.
I think they come out and really use this as bulletin board material. It never works to talk like this. And look, Clint's had a good series, but I think it's a little. Plus, I mean, you also throw in the fact it's going to be rowdy, man. The Trae Young stuff with the spitting stuff. I mean, it's going to be. They hate Trae Young in New York too. I mean, look, and if you just look at Trae Young, he is a hate the face kind of guy. Like, he's just kind of a little weasel.
And he is kind of weaselly. And listen, I like the fact that we have players in the NBA that want to be that villain, right? Like, I like that. It makes it fun. Like, I will watch this game over everything else tonight. But you and I both know, Jeff, if you're going to talk like that, especially in New York, you damn well better back it up tonight.
Yeah, and I don't think Trae Young will have a problem backing it up, but I don't know if Clint Capella can. I think Julius Randle, maybe props with him could be a good bet. But yeah, I think first half's worth a look here. I don't hate if I had to pick, I would lean on the Knicks as well. I think they get the job done here, and like I said, I agree with you that they win it back in Atlanta 4-2. Next one, 9:40 Eastern, another closeout opportunity. Utah Jazz hosting the Memphis Grizzlies. You and I talked about it on Monday's show. We both kind of agree. The Grizzlies just aren't as good as the Jazz. But I think what they've done in this series is pretty honorable. Winning a game. They haven't really gotten blown out. I thought they played pretty damn good offensively in this series. The future is bright for Memphis. They have done a hell of a job in the front office. I think they're the future, Hawks of the Western Conference. This is a team to really keep an eye on. This is a group in the next couple of years could really be a bona fide contender. If they can get one more guy to really be a really tough wing player for them. They can shoot the ball, kind of create his own shot. I like Memphis. Good place to live, good area. Maybe they can attract, kind of, not necessarily a superstar, but kind of a top 30 player in the NBA. Really like what I'm seeing from them. There's been two things that I've noticed in this series, one of which is obviously how good the Memphis offense has played, but it's also how just total night and day the Jazz are offensively with Donovan Mitchell. They've played faster. You look at in the 3 games Donovan's been back, Blackjack averaging 127 points a game. Pretty damn impressive. Tonight they're at home. Team total in this game is 118.5. I played it the other night. And I'm going to play it again here. This offense is one of the best in the league when fully healthy. What I love to see is, I know Mitchell and Connolly are going to play well, but one thing I also know that I'm seeing is Royce O'Neal is contributing 10 a game. Bogey Bogdanovic is giving you 13. Gobert is giving you 15 to 20. Clarkson's he's going to give you 20 plus. Derek Favors and Niang are going to chip in, 8, 10, 12. Ingles is always good for a couple of threes. This offense is very good. The Grizzlies can't stop the Jazz, and the pace has been turned the hell up. Jazz team total over 118.5. Team totals have been good to me. Had it the other night. Had Brooklyn the other night. Like these team totals. Jazz close it out tonight in a big way. I'll say 125, 113.
I am with you, except I'm going to take the Jazz minus the 9.5. I think the Jazz absolutely step on the throats of the Grizzlies tonight. One of the things that I loved about Utah during the regular season was when they were on that 2 or 3 month stretch where they were just winning constantly, and you were laying these gigantic numbers with them, 13, 15, 17. And I laid them because what I liked about this Utah team was they didn't cruise in the fourth quarter. They kept their foot on the gas the entire way through a game. So they may be playing Orlando and up by 23, and their guys are still out there shooting threes in the fourth quarter. They don't go easy. I think this is a closeout spot. I think that they win big here. I love this team. When they're healthy, this to me is the best team in the NBA. I don't know that I would really put anybody particularly close to them because they took more threes than anyone in the NBA. They made more threes than anyone in the NBA. Their defense was outstanding, and they committed fewer fouls than any other team in the NBA, which means what happens? They just play good defense by staying in front of you. It's a team that really has very few flaws when they're totally healthy. So I'm with you. I like Jazz.
They're very good against the spread. Okay,
yeah.
You look at during the regular season, there was no one. Or I think there were two teams better than them in the against the spread stuff. They're 44-32 against the number. They covered 58%. Look, if you win 58% of your bets, you're going to make a lot of money.
That's right.
They're a very good cover team. You can trust them. This game screams to me what we saw last night with Brooklyn and Boston. 123-109. You just kind of keep them at arm's length, have a good fourth quarter, close the game out, and win by 10 to 15. I'm going to go with the team total. I trust this offense. That's really what I want to focus on. But I kind of agree with you. I think at worst they win by 10. But look, shout out to the Grizzlies. There's a lot of future with this group. One of the youngest teams in the league. They could be the youngest team in the league. Look, their GM's like 30, 31. Like he's super young. Like it's crazy. Really like Memphis. I like this team a lot. Final game. Dallas Mavericks and LA Clippers, 10-10 Eastern. This is going to be a late one. Clippers laying 7.5, total 217.5. I'm guessing Luka Doncic's injury is a little worse than we think it might be. Look, and let's be frank. If he's not fully healthy, this offense just isn't great. They haven't shot the ball real well in this series. The thing about the Clippers that, we always talk about, obviously offense with Kawhi and with Paul George and what they have, but I think what's been impressive this year as usual with them is defensively. They are very good defensively. Top 5 in points allowed per game. Very good against the three-point shot. Really make it difficult. Their length's great with guys like Ibaka and Morris and just what they can kind of throw out with that length. We know Kawhi's an elite defender. The thing that kind of jumps out at you in this series is pace. The pace has been incredibly slow. And to put that into perspective, during the regular season, the Clippers were the slowest team in the NBA. They averaged about 99 possessions per game as far as their games were concerned. Dallas was about 100, so very slow. In this series, it's even slower. You're talking 93, 94 possessions. This is super slow. Now, they've been efficient. They found their ways over in certain games. But with the issues with Luka, with the struggles coming from the shooting for Dallas, with me not really trusting the Clippers to – I know they have a good offense, but I don't necessarily trust certain guys in their team. The only one I really trust is Kawhi Leonard. I'm going to go under the total in this game. I'm going to go under 217.5. It is a best bet for me. I just think this is Dallas continuing to struggle in the offensive end. Clippers play great defense. Wouldn't surprise me if the Dallas Mavericks struggle to get to like 105 here. I think this is like what we saw in game one, 113, 103, 115, 102, something like that.
I don't know.
I have a hard time thinking that Dallas can do much in this game offensively.
I'm going to take a shot with Dallas here plus the 7.5. I'm going to hope that Luka can bounce back. Their shooting can't be as bad as it was in game 4 again, right? I mean, it just can't be that bad. The difference, though, from Dallas in the first 2 games to the point where Luka gets hurt, I mean, it's night and day. I mean, you said it earlier. It's 100% true. Without Luka, this team can't win. I mean, they can't win. With him, I think they win this series. So it depends on what we're going to get out of him. I'm going to hope that he comes back and that they can shoot a little bit better than they have been. So, because I still don't trust the Clippers either. I'm sorry. Like, I don't trust the Clippers. Paul George. Kawhi's going to play well. We know that. But the rest of that team doesn't do a lot for me. I mean, some nights they're going to look really good. Some nights they're not. I think 7.5 here with Dallas. I'd rather take the points than lay the points. I see where you're going with the total, but, man, if Dallas starts to shoot it again, this thing could get out of hand in a hurry in terms of a total. So I'm going to lean with the points here.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I don't know if they're that capable. I'm starting to kind of realize that without Luka being fully healthy, I don't know.
I agree with you. That's the whole thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to score 81 points here, but I mean, let me ask you. I mean, do you trust absolutely anyone on this team outside of Luka Doncic? I mean, I don't.
Well, but here's the thing, Jeff. Right? It's like when Luka is able to do what he does, it makes these guys much better players, right? Like Porzingis can do. He can be a spot-up three-point shooter, and he can do that effectively. Dorian Finney-Smith can be good. Josh Richardson can be a quality shooter. When Luka can't do what he does, when he can't get that dribble drive going, when he's not able to kind of penetrate the way he normally can, then yeah, those guys are a lot less effective.
Yeah, no, and we talked about that with Embiid. You can't lose a player of a caliber of an Embiid or a Doncic and expect the team to just be fine and figure it out. It's just not going to happen. All right, let's get to best bets. Then we'll get to some other things, and we'll wrap this thing up. I got 3 plays tonight. I'm going to go with Knicks first half. I'm going to lay the 0.5 point in the first half. I think the Knicks have the lead. They need to come out kind of with some real fervor and really kind of feed off that crowd and some of the comments by Capella. And look, frankly, they've been very good in the first half this year at home. I'm also going to take the Utah Jazz team total over 118.5. I think they close it out tonight against the Grizzlies. That offense has been on fire. And I'm going to go with the Mavericks and Clippers under 217.5. I think the Clippers are a lot better than we think defensively, and the pace is just ultimately going to lend to being very slow. Blackjack Fletcher, what about you?
Knicks minus 1.5. Mavericks plus 7.5, and the Utah Jazz minus 9.5.
Interesting. Like it. Kind of correlated. I definitely lean on that Jazz one. I think you have a good one there. By the way, breaking news, according to Kentucky Derby officials, Kentucky Derby winner Medina Spirit has failed yet another drug test. Not good.
Will be disqualified.
Say that again?
Horse will be disqualified. Mandaloon is going to be named the winner of the Kentucky Derby.
Now let me ask you, horse bookies, are you going to give the money back?
Nope.
No. Sad.
Nope.
How's that fair?
The owners of Mandaloon are going to get a nice check, but the people who bet on Mandaloon won't.
Now, how's that work? Do they have to forfeit the purse?
The purse doesn't get paid out until the drug tests come back, so the money was never given to Medina Spirit.
So Baffert's just doesn't get anything?
No.
That's rough.
That horse will be disqualified and placed last.
But Blackjack, you're a very seasoned horse guy. For even like someone like me or someone that doesn't follow it at all, when you talk about horse racing, what's the first thing people generally say? It's a lot like boxing. Oh, it's unjust. They don't, it's a scam. They're I think we all knew like that horse, Medina Spirit, like it was a horse that was bought for like $1,000. Like
it was $1,000 as a yearling, $35,000 as a 2-year-old, which is still incredibly cheap. I mean, I remember talking to my dad on the phone before the race and being like, "Yeah, if Baffert wins this one, I'll be stunned. Like I'll be stunned. Like this horse
And
For
there
no
it
way
goes.
to
There
get
it
Derby.
goes. He wins. I said it to my mom. My mom says, wow, he's only a cheap horse. I said, yeah. I said, he shouldn't have won. He
It
has
was
no
like a
business winning.
fourth-string horse. It had no business winning. But
Yeah. That'd be like, that'd be like taking a guy that played like,
it'd be like Logan
intramural.
Paul knocking out Floyd Mayweather on Saturday.
Yeah. It'd be like an intramural guy going to the NBA and like, winning the scoring title or being the leading scorer in a game or something. Antoine Murphy says Burton's being out is huge. Yes, definitely. Stretches the floor for them. Big loss. I agree with that. So Wizards are going home tonight. I don't know, to be honest. I'm not so sure. I'm with bated breath. If Embiid is fine, which maybe he somehow is, then yes, I think they are. But I'm not sure that without Embiid they can win. I'm just not. Blackjack, one other thing. The experts, as you will, say that the real test for COVID progress is 2 weeks away. The U.S. will have to wait and see if the protection of a country still not vaccinated can overpower the risk of foregoing masks and big crowds. They just will not let this go, the news media.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. Like, I don't.
It's always 2 weeks away.
I don't mean to sound crass, because I know a lot of people did die as a result of this thing, but this is over. It's over.
I think it's been pretty clear. If you don't have a vaccine, that's
if you want it, it's readily available. If you don't want it, that's fine. That's your choice. But it's over.
Yeah, I think that's what the government is pretty much telling us. We don't care about you folks that don't get a vaccine. If you're too stupid to not get it, and you don't want to get it, then it's on you now.
Yeah, that's your
You're
choice.
not old, and
And
if
that's
you have to
fine.
go to the hospital, you do.
Right. That's fine. That's your choice. You can accept whatever consequences may or may not come, but that's fine. But as far as those of us who are vaccinated, this is over. Let's stop.
Agreed.
I don't want to hear about it. I just don't want to. I'm done. I'm done.
Agreed. If you enjoy mafia history, if you enjoy crime, if you enjoy organized crime, you like movies like Goodfellas and Donnie Brasco, and you enjoy Black Mass, go check out our episode this week of The Sit Down. You can find it on iTunes. Just type in The Sit Down, spaces between it, and you can get the show. Or just type in my name in Google and it'll come up. It's a great show this week. It's a long episode, but when you're talking about Whitey Bulger, there are so many layers to Whitey's life. Everything from his life growing up to going to the military and some things that he dealt with there, to his life kind of on the come up, to his life of crime, to his role as an informant or of maybe as an informant. Then his running for the law. He was on the lam for 16 years. Then his incarceration. Then his untimely end. There's so much to Whitey Bulger. He's a fascinating guy. It's really a sad state of affairs that the FBI allowed to happen. So go check that out. It's a really good episode. It's a great podcast. You'll learn a whole lot. We try to tell it in a compelling nature. Blackjack provides, I think, a great role as kind of a, Blackjack knows more about the law than I do. I try to know a lot about it, but Blackjack adds kind of different sentiments to it. And Blackjack, I thought it got a bit contentious at times because I felt you were a bit of an apologist for Whitey Bulger. And, I would agree that on the shows we've done so far, I think Whitey Bulger is the biggest scumbag of them all. But I would agree that the big scumbag was John Connolly in the whole situation. But if you like The Departed, you like Black Mass, this is the true story of Whitey Bulger. So go check it out.
It's a great episode. I think it's a really excellent one. Like you said, it's a long one, but it's worth it. There's a lot there with Whitey Bulger.
Yeah, there really is. So go check that out wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, Google, iTunes. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you leave us a remark, a comment. Give us 5 stars, please. That's helpful. When you have a podcast like we do, the goal that we have now is to get the amount of listeners we need that we can take this show somewhere else and we can really extend it to a big level, because I believe the show has the ability to do that. And in 8 short episodes, we've been able to do pretty well with it. So please share it with your friends. Tell people that might enjoy it. Anytime you can share the show is helpful. Anybody that can see it is helpful. So thanks for watching. Thanks for checking us out. Make sure you share this show as well. The Hoops Betting Hour. I'm here every day at 12 Eastern, breaking down the NBA card. We're here to the end of the playoffs. Tomorrow, Ski Prophet will join us. We have great guys like Blackjack Fletcher on here and all sorts of others. Blackjack, let us know where we can find you and what you have going on. Do you have any NHL thoughts tonight?
I do. I like the Winnipeg.
Oh, hey, Blackjack. Shout out to me. What about that parlay I talked about?
Oh, yeah. Hey, good job.
You got any big ones for us tonight with that?
I like Winnipeg and I like Vegas. I think that Montreal did a really nice job against Toronto, but Winnipeg is not Toronto. They're not soft. They have a better goaltender in Connor Hellebuck. They've been sitting, getting healthy for 7 days. Montreal off an emotional Game 7, now traveling to Winnipeg. I like Winnipeg. And Vegas, listen, I know everyone's going to say that Colorado blasted them 7-1 in the first game. Listen, Colorado was rested. Vegas was 2 days off of a Game 7 of their own. And Pete DeBoer, for whatever reason, decided he wasn't going to play Marc-Andre Fleury in net. He was going to put Robin Leonard out there. And Leonard just got blasted, okay? Fleury's back between the pipes tonight. Everyone is going on about Colorado being, like, inevitable as a Stanley Cup champion. They need to relax a little. Like, Vegas was tied with them for the most points in the NHL this year. So this is going to be a long series. If you're getting plus 170 on Las Vegas, you take it every single night.
I got to tell you, for anyone that wants the sharp that I am, big man on campus, is NHL picks, I'm on the Golden Knights tonight. I couldn't agree more with Blackjack's sentiment. Now, I will say this. I was not aware that Colorado was as good as he's alluding to or people say they are. But I do know one thing about, getting a grip and realizing what's going on. You just lost 7-1. You're down 1-0. You had a great season. Stop screwing around, Zach Whitecloud, Max Pacioretty, and Ryan Reeves, and Cody Glass, and
Revo won't be out there. He's suspended for 2 games.
Whatever. Alex Petrangelo, all you guys, wake the hell up. I think they've read the press clippings. People don't believe in them. Get off the mat time, folks.
Yeah.
Golden Knights win. I'm on that as well. Plus 168. Shout out to the Golden Knights of the great city of Las Vegas. All right, we're out of here. Have a great night. Thanks for checking us out. Make sure you hit the like button if you enjoy the show. Make sure you subscribe if you're new around here. We are powered every day by Pickswise and presented by FanDuel all the way to the NBA Finals. Have a great night. He's Blackjack Fletcher. Blackjack, tell us where they can find you. You didn't do that.
On Twitter, Blackjack Fletcher. You'll find me. Just type in Blackjack. I'll be there. And, make sure you check out everything we got going on up better than Vegas.
Agreed. Go check Blackjack out. All of his haunts are over there and what he's doing. Have a great night, everybody. Appreciate you, Blackjack. We'll talk to you next week. We'll talk to you tomorrow, everybody. Have a great night.
Later.
Bye-bye.